So my evening routine really begins at around 5 p.m. when I stop working for the day and then head over to the kitchen to make dinner. I love baking, and so I'm always trying to make fun, healthy meals that Christopher and I are really going to enjoy. So tonight I'm making potatoes, salmon, and asparagus. And with everything I cook, I do try to keep the ingredients fairly simple, using olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, and so on. And once I've finished with the grain, I'll typically move on to the meat next, and Christopher and I do try to eat a little bit less meat, so one thing that I'll often do is cut something like a salmon or a piece of chicken into 4 quarters, and then Christopher and I can just enjoy that over 2 different meals instead of eating it all at once. And the salmon is actually seasoned pretty much the exact same way as the potatoes. The biggest difference is just that I add some lemon to the salmon, and brings out a beautiful flavor in it. And then I also sprinkle some rosemary on the top, which honestly tastes delicious. After that, it's onto a pan, and then we'll stick everything in the oven, including the asparagus. So once everything's in the oven, the next thing that I typically do is, while I'm waiting for everything to cook, I'll try to go around the house and tidy up a bit. Especially in our living room, I just like having a clean space to be able to live life in, especially in the evening. So if there's anything out of place, I'll typically try to just wipe everything down if need be. And then especially in the fall, I like to light a candle or two to create a really cozy vibe. And once I finish tidying up, I really like to take a few minutes to sit down and read. And while sometimes I do turn to a physical book, often I find that I don't have that much time to sit down and really dive into a good read. And so one app I've been turning to a lot more recently is BLINKIST, who have really kindly partnered with me on this video. And guys, this app is incredible. They took all the insights from literally thousands of nonfiction books and condensed them into short 15-minute reads, or listens. They also have an audio feature. And so I've been loving incorporating this app into my evening routine and really being able to read some amazing books. I love it because literally in just a few minutes I can gain some amazing insights that I otherwise would have spent hours learning. Like in one of the last books I read, Deep Work by Cal Newport, I learned some insane things about how to be more focused, more productive, as well as how to single task. And reading is such a powerful tool. It's not going to take up all of your evening, but it can make a huge difference in making your evenings just so much more intentional. And I did want to mention that Blinkist is kindly offering free unlimited access for 1 week to try out the app to the first 100 people who use the link in the description box below. Plus, you'll also get 25% off of the full membership. And of course, if you decide Blinkist isn't for you, you can always cancel at any time during that period. Oh, and if you're looking for recommendations, I've really enjoyed Deep Work, So Good They Can't Ignore You, and Essentialism. They've been great reads and really enjoyed them. So once I finish reading or listening to a book, I'll typically set the table for dinner, and then also serve out the food that we're going to be eating and try to make it nice and presentable. Nothing too crazy in this department. I just like having fairly aesthetic food. And then Christopher and I will enjoy dinner together and really spend some great quality time having good conversation. Christopher and I have a bit of a no phones policy at the dinner table, so it really does become an intentional time for us where we can catch up on how each other's days went. And then after that, Christopher typically does all of the dishes after dinner, and so I move on to this next part of my nighttime routine, which unfortunately often involves a little bit of extra work because I've got a lot going on in my life. But I do try to make this as nice of a time as possible, so I'll typically make some loose leaf tea. I've been loving vanilla rooibos tea lately, especially because it's caffeine free, so I'll often enjoy one of those in the evenings. And I find loose leaf tea just to be such a fun way to relax and unwind, especially after a long day. So at this point, I'll usually switch from working at my desk to working from the couch, and it does kind of, once again, give the work that I'm doing a little bit more of a fun feeling to it. It doesn't feel quite as much like work when you're cozied up by the couch, and especially because I also get to usually watch the sunset during this time. Our apartment looks west, and so I often get a beautiful view of the sunset because we're a few floors up in our apartment building. So after about an hour of working or so, I'll typically close things up for the night and then just enjoy some preparations for the following day and some quality time with Christopher. So one thing that I always like doing is setting up my clothes for the next day. I'm not a morning person, so the fewer decisions I can make for the following day, the better. So I'll just really simply pick out a top and pants and then also change into pajamas at this time as well. It's usually around 8:30 at this point, and so I'm ready for it. And so when exactly I end up doing this in the evening does vary, but I do like to stretch at the end of every day just to kind of take some of the tension off of my shoulders, my back, especially sitting at a desk for a good chunk of your day. It can be pretty taxing on your body, and so even if it's nothing fancy, I do like just trying to stretch my muscles a little bit. And then I'll also have some water at this point in time as well. And I definitely get dehydrated very easily, and so drinking water is so important. And then also, this doesn't happen every night for sure, but I do enjoy some good dessert, and I recently made some homemade apple crisps from some apples that we picked in an apple orchard last week. It was so much fun and really wanted to be able to just enjoy a fun dessert. So I had that while Christopher and I watched football together, which for some people might actually be a mindless activity, but Christopher and I absolutely love watching specifically football together and do end up talking a lot during that time. At around 11 though, we do shut everything down for the night, and so I'll just go ahead and hop into bed from here, set my alarm for the following morning, and then go to sleep. So that's my basic evening routine, filled with fun time spent with Christopher, filled with some healthy habits like drinking water and reading, and honestly, it's a good combination of fun for me as well as things that are really going to help me in the long run. So thanks guys so much for watching this video. Thank you to Blinkist for partnering with me on this video. And don't forget that if you use the link in the description box below, you can get free access to Blinkist for a week. Have a great day guys. See you in the next video.